Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Shift. We're tracking a situation that could fundamentally redefine the financial outlook for a significant number of currency holders globally. Imagine a moment in the market so crucial it has the potential to turn modest speculative positions into something far more substantial. Right now, across global banking networks, private investment circles, and high-level financial intelligence advisories, a very distinct message is circulating with increasing frequency and credibility. The central theme revolves around maintaining one's position in the Iraqi Dinar's IQD sits. While the history of the dinar has been heavily saturated with claims, often based on conjecture or incomplete data, the signals being observed now, originating from established financial insiders, suggest a dynamic shift in the narrative. The IQD is a currency whose future has long been linked to the concept of a revaluation or broad currency realignment, an economic event that could dramatically increase its official exchange rate when measured against the US dollar. Though skepticism is natural, given past disappointments, the confluence of patterns identified through various reliable reports indicates that major structural adjustments in the global currency environment might be imminent. Two financial analysts and strategic observers are pointing to a distinct 10-day windows in the middle of October, noting that this period marks a critical convergence point for several major economic factors. Geopolitical developments, the finalization of crucial oil contracts, and ongoing international monetary negotiations are all reportedly aligning. This synchronization could create an unusual, brief window of opportunity for those holding the currency. This span of time is therefore not viewed as merely another routine market fluctuation. Instead, it's being treated by institutional players as a potential turning point, a moment that could trigger one of the most consequential financial adjustments of the current decade, with implications extending far beyond Iraq's borders. The sense of urgency surrounding this period is palpable for anyone maintaining a stake in this market. A precise understanding of what is developing is paramount, as timing, more than any other variable, stands to be the deciding factor between a missed opportunity and the realization of significant financial gain. Two recent intelligence gathered from multiple credible sources suggests that comprehensive, sweeping adjustments may be forthcoming for a select group of currencies that have been the subject of long-term speculative interest. Specifically, reports indicate that the Iraqi Dinar IQD, the Vietnamese Dong VND, and even certain historically volatile currencies such as the Zimbabwean dollar ZABULs are currently undergoing review for potential revaluation or official realignment of their exchange rates. A key takeaway from these advisories is the strong caution being issued to investors: avoid rushing into currency exchanges or engaging in speculative sales at this particular juncture. The basis for this restraint is significant initial high-level analyses suggest that the scale of these potential adjustments, should they be formally implemented, could be unlike anything these specific markets have experienced in modern history. The caution is a measured response to the potentially vast scale of the forthcoming changes. In previous years, rumors regarding a dinar revaluation surfaced frequently, only to dissipate without generating any meaningful, lasting market momentum, leading to frustration and mounting skepticism among retail holders. However, the dynamics of the current cycle appear fundamentally different. Banking insiders are reporting that significant financial institutions, both regional and international, are discreetly taking steps to position themselves strategically. Their efforts are focused on logistical preparation for an official rate adjustment, a change that is understood to carry considerable, far-reaching consequences for both institutional traders and private currency holders alike. The intelligence being circulated emphasizes the necessity of patience and discipline, highlighting that any premature action could result in significant missed opportunities or even unnecessary losses. While much of the public discussion centers on small-scale speculation, the simultaneous convergence of multiple authoritative data points, including detailed foreign reserve reports, updates on major international oil contracts, and crucial IMF compliance reviews, indicates that this is a meticulously coordinated and deliberate sequence of events, not a random market surge. For investors holding substantial amounts of these currencies, the stakes are undeniably high. Observing the current critical window with informed patience could mean the difference between exchanging currency notes at their existing, significantly lower valuation or realizing as financial windfall with the power to profoundly reshape one's personal wealth trajectory. The unfolding scenario extends far beyond typical currency speculation. It represents a calculated, complex financial event unfolding in real time, one that demands unwavering attention, a methodical approach to decision-making, and the application of a rigorous, disciplined strategy. This structured preparation is what separates potential financial transformation from a costly miscalculation. Tutu holders of both the Dinar and the Dong have navigated a prolonged period of intense uncertainty, dominated by fragmented news, speculative conjecture, and the constant ebb and flow of rumors. This emotional strain of prolonged waiting, balanced against the prospect of substantial financial gain, has created a noticeable tension within the global investor community. Conventional investment markets operate with the benefit of near total data transparency. In sharp contrast, the Dinar ecosystem is largely reliant on information leaks, occasional insider tips, and highly limited formal banking guidance. What lends the current situation an unprecedented level of credibility is the source of the emerging guidance itself. A consensus of advice is reportedly emanating from various U.S. banks, international financial agencies, and respected financial intelligence analysts, all of whom are advising their private clientele to refrain from immediate transactions. This is not caution rooted in simple guesswork. It is a strategic advisory grounded in the critical factors of timing, complex logistics, and necessary international coordination required to execute a large-scale currency recalibration. A veteran economist at the Global Currency Research Institute, Dr. Michael Harrington, is reported to have commented that although patience is painful, it ultimately pays. His assessment suggests that the next 7 to 10 days possess the potential to structurally reframe the IQD and VND markets in a manner that hasn't been observed since the pivotal post-World War II currency reforms in Germany. Such a statement powerfully underscores the sheer gravity and magnitude of the present moment. Investors who overlook the implications of this window may find themselves strategically locked out of potential opportunities, while those who wait may benefit from the deliberate, coordinated actions of numerous central banks and international financial regulators. In a practical sense, the tension currently gripping the market is driven by more than just nominal exchange rates. It embodies a complex and rare intersection of geopolitics, sophisticated economic strategy, and financial foresight. Comprehending these intricate dynamics is absolutely essential for anyone attempting to navigate the often opaque world of alternative currency investment, where the triumvirate of impeccable timing, a clear strategy, and accurate, verified information can be the sole differentiator between a substantial reward and a financially crippling misjudgment. The reason for the insistent focus on the S10-day window is not arbitrary. Multiple independent sources confirm that this timeframe is deliberately aligned with a mandated synchronization of reporting and operational cycles between the Central Bank of Iraq (CBY) and major U.S. financial institutions, including significant international players. These key organizations are reportedly working in concert to release specific, critical financial data points. This information includes official updates on Iraq's foreign reserves, the status of its international oil contracts, and its ongoing compliance with mandates set by the International Monetary Fund's (IMF). Every single one of these factors plays a fundamental and determinative role in establishing official exchange rates, particularly for currencies that fall under governmental oversight and require strategic international alignment for stability. Past market history provides compelling evidence that similar concentrated windows of opportunity have produced dramatic market outcomes. In these prior instances, delayed reactions or conversely premature actions have been observed to severely impact investors' outcomes, creating clear winners and losers. For currency holders of the Dinar and the Dong, this specific period could represent a rare opportunity to act at the precise intersection of maximum informational clarity and peak market impact. Though the Iraqi Dinar's official rate remains relatively low, historical issuance data, such as the widely circulated 2003 rate of approximately 500 IQD per USD, offers a baseline for comparison. Analysts are currently circulating predictions of a potential rate shift that could range anywhere from a modest increase up to several dollars per 1 IQD, a scale that, if realized, would have a transformative, compounding effect on investors who hold substantial quantities. To a deeper understanding of the underlying financial mechanics, the CBI's liquidity management strategies, the allocation of foreign reserves, and the necessity of international coordination provides insight into why this particular timeframe is critically important. For serious investors, choosing to disregard this timeline means risking the opportunity to capitalize on what may be one of the most significant and consequential currency adjustments of modern history. In essence, this 10-day period functions as a strategic confluence of preparation, pivotal policy decisions, and precise timing, creating a rare and potentially high reward scenario reserved specifically for those who remain informed, disciplined, and patient. The prevailing question on the mind of every investor is whether this current moment simply constitutes another speculative chapter in the long-running saga of Dinar and Dong valuation theories, or if there is genuine, measurable substance driving the narrative. According to highly placed sources within global banking and government circles, what is unfolding is not random. Rather, it appears to be a perfect storm of converging financial, economic, and geopolitical factors. These factors are aligning in a unique way that could materially affect the standing and value of both the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong on the global stage. Three dominant forces are converging, each influencing the potential currency shift. Firstly, Iraq is demonstrably committed to comprehensive economic restructuring. This involves implementing greater fiscal transparency, enhancing protocols to encourage foreign investment, and, most crucially, stabilizing measures designed to fortify its central banking system. These steps are foundational to supporting a stronger currency. Secondly, Vietnam is experiencing an undeniable surge in global trade and manufacturing activity. This is partly fueled by a widespread realignment of global supply chains, leading to increasing international demand for Vietnamese goods, which organically exerts significant upward pressure on the dong's valuation. Thirdly, key adjustments are being made within U.S. banking policy and regulatory frameworks. Specific regulatory shifts and the synchronization of reporting cycles are reportedly creating a unique, practical window in which these countries' exchange rates could be officially and logistically recalibrated. Collectively, these three forces are not disparate events. They represent a coordinated and synchronized effort among multiple nations, their central banks, and major financial institutions. The goal is to stabilize and normalize currency markets while simultaneously addressing the pressing underlying economic realities. Understanding the sophisticated mechanics behind this three-pronged convergence is vital. The narrative fueled by rumors may be obscuring a much more structured and deliberate financial orchestration, an event that could produce dramatic and immediate consequences for anyone holding these currencies, depending on whether they act or fail to act within this narrow window of time. Expert commentary offers additional context to the unfolding scenario. James Weller, a former U.S. Treasury analyst, has emphasized this economic imperative facing Iraq, stating clearly that the nation is moving into a phase where its currency can no longer afford to remain significantly undervalued. Oil revenues, the flow of necessary foreign investments, and cross-border trade demands are all creating a powerful, sustained push for a stronger national currency. He suggests the Central Bank of Iraq is actively positioning the dinar for deeper, more meaningful integration into the broader global financial system. This is framed not as speculation, but as a logical, necessary response to unavoidable structural economic pressures. In parallel, Juan Thailan, a respected Vietnamese trade economist, has underscored the Azure Dong's organic strength, noting its benefit from global supply chain realignments. Vietnam is rapidly solidifying its position as a central hub for manufacturing and export, particularly as global companies diversify away from reliance on China. Therefore, a stronger dong is not merely a speculative aspiration, it reflects a genuine economic necessity. Regulatory alignment efforts, and a long-term, calculated push toward ensuring fundamental currency stability to match its economic growth. For investors specifically in the U.S., independent wealth strategist Sarah Collins has highlighted these time-sensitive urgency. She emphasizes that for retirees and older investors, the opportunity window to maximize potential returns is rapidly narrowing. Exchanging holdings prematurely locks investors into outdated valuations, potentially leaving vast financial gains unrealized. She stresses that 10 days might feel long, but the potential financial payoff is transformational, underscoring that strategic patience is the essential virtue now. Acting too soon risks missing the full benefit of the coordinated international financial events currently underway. Collectively, these expert voices suggest that the current developments extend well beyond mere market rumor. They indicate deep-seated structural shifts that carry the potential for immediate and profound market implications. Iraq's recent economic trajectory, after 2 challenging decades marked by political instability and oil price volatility, now shows a significant pivot towards sovereign financial control and resilience. The Central Bank of Iraq (CBI) has undertaken decisive, concrete actions to strengthen its financial position. These steps include a marked increase in its gold reserves, the implementation of modernized electronic payment systems, and a concerted effort to combat systemic corruption within the financial sector. These reforms are more than mere technical adjustments. They are symbolic demonstrations of Iraq's readiness to meet rigorous international compliance standards and foster a stable, globally trusted financial environment. For Iraqi citizens, a revalued dinar would significantly restore purchasing power, reduce inflationary pressures, and generally boost confidence in domestic banks, translating into a tangible improvement in everyday economic life. For international investors, the implications are even more significant. Historical currency recoveries, such as the substantial rise of the Kuwaiti dinar after the 1991 Gulf War, have clearly demonstrated the potential for extraordinary gains for early, patient holders. Should Iraq successfully execute its comprehensive reforms and fully align with its international financial partners, investors who maintain their positions in the dinar could stand to see an unprecedented financial windfall. This current period is therefore a rare intersection of domestic stabilization, global financial integration, and critical strategic opportunity, highlighting the paramount importance of informed patience and precise timing. Vietnam's remarkable ascent positions the Dong with its own unique strength. For many years, the Dong was considered significantly undervalued relative to the country's actual economic potential, largely due to a cautious domestic policy focused on strategic export management. Today, however, Vietnam's rapidly emerging position as a dominant global manufacturing hub, actively competing with traditional industrial powerhouses, is fundamentally altering that valuation calculus. Extensive trade agreements with major global markets, including the European Union and the United States, are fueling surging demand for Vietnamese exports, which naturally generates significant upward pressure on the Dong and increases the likelihood of an official currency adjustment. While Vietnamese officials have maintained a deliberate caution in public communications, they have allowed controlled speculation about currency modernization to circulate, both domestically and internationally. This deliberate strategy has further stimulated interest from foreign investors. The powerful combination of massive trade expansion, increasing foreign direct investment, and necessary regulatory modernization efforts suggests that the Dong's emerging strength is not speculative hype, but a direct reflection of underlying robust economic realities that are expected to produce tangible results in the near to medium term. The Dong is thus positioned as a currency on the cusp of substantial upward mobility, making informed action and careful observation more critical than ever before. For American investors, particularly retirees over the age of 50, the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong represent a highly unusual and potentially life-altering financial opportunity. Unlike the extreme volatility associated with high-risk technology startups or speculative cryptocurrencies, these are sovereign, issued fiat currencies with a demonstrable, long-standing track record of controlled issuance. Their value proposition is not rooted in market frenzy, but in decades of systematic undervaluation relative to global economic benchmarks and potential. Many U.S. citizens acquired small amounts of dinar or dong years ago, often viewing them as a speculative long shot to, for example, a veteran who served in Iraq and retained IQD bills as a souvenir is increasingly recognizing that these once overlooked notes may carry significance far beyond sentimental value, potentially financing a significant portion of their retirement. The inherent risk, however, remains exchanging prematurely. Acting before coordinated central bank announcements or international adjustments locks investors into outdated valuations, thereby eliminating the massive upside potential. For those who choose to wait, this moment represents a rare convergence of discipline, precise timing, and strategic foresight, a scenario where holding steady could yield financial rewards far exceeding traditional investment channels. The next 10 days are expected to be pivotal for Dinar and Dong holders worldwide. Investors should be watching meticulously for a precise confluence of three key signals that would strongly indicate an imminent revaluation moment. The first is expected from the Central Bank of Iraq, CBU, which is anticipated to release formal updates concerning new exchange rate mechanisms, adjustments to its reserve holdings, and policies on liquidity management. Official announcements in these areas would be the primary, definitive sign of a formal recalibration being underway. Secondly, astute investors will be monitoring FOR's internal memos and advisories circulated by major U.S. banking institutions to their private clients. These communications, often highly confidential, offer subtle but crucial hints regarding potential currency shifts. Such advisories frequently influence the market's timing and the perceived scale of movement, acting as an institutional heads-up before public action. Thirdly, Forex indicators and sophisticated currency analytics tools are expected to begin flashing early signs of significant corrections or a rapid increase in institutional trading activity. These technical signals reflect the alignment of global supply, institutional demand, and coordinated positioning. When these three diverse elements, CBI statements, private banking advisories, and technical Forex activity, all coincide, the theoretical possibility of a revaluation transitions into a tangible, definable market event. To investors who recognize these critical cues and maintain a disciplined strategy are positioned to capitalize on what may prove to be one of the most unusual financial opportunities in modern history. Conversely, those who act too hastily risk converting a potentially life-changing investment into a merely average return, forfeiting the significant windfall that A's informed patience could ultimately deliver. The next 10 days are a strategic window, a short, critical period where informed attention, careful monitoring, and a measured response will determine whether this possibility remains abstract or becomes concrete financial reality. Historical precedent provides valuable, instructive insight into the potential magnitude of a dinar or dong valuation event. Consider the restructuring of the German Deutsche Mark following the devastation of World War II. The subsequent currency reform successfully stabilized the national economy and laid the essential groundwork for the country's renowned economic miracle. Those who held currency through that necessary period of economic adjustment ultimately witnessed remarkable gains in their financial security and purchasing power. A similar, instructive example is found in the Kuwaiti dinar. Following its devaluation during the 1991 Gulf War, investors who held their positions through the conflict and into the post-war recovery saw substantial returns as the currency rapidly regained its strength. Both of these cases clearly illustrate a common, enduring principle of strategic patience in the face of profound uncertainty, combined with a clear understanding of fundamental structural financial changes, can yield extraordinary rewards. For the Iraqi dinar, the current developments could represent a comparable historical moment where significantly undervalued holdings Gs may undergo a dramatic recalibration to align with the country's economic reality. Speculators and serious investors are watching closely, comparing current timelines, institutional preparedness, and geopolitical factors to gauge whether the conditions are truly aligned for a similar revaluation event. While no future outcome is ever guaranteed in finance, these lessons from history powerfully underscore the critical importance of discipline, patience, and adherence to verified informational channels. 2. A pervasive question among investors during periods of high uncertainty is whether the wait is genuinely justified. History repeatedly confirms that the answer lies not in impulsive reaction or fear, but in Har's deliberate strategy, informed patience, and disciplined timing. Across centuries of financial history, the most successful investors have consistently shown that extraordinary wealth is rarely accumulated through panicked or rushed decisions. Instead, it is earned by meticulously observing underlying economic patterns, comprehending fundamental forces, and having the courage to act with patience when others are capitulating out of fear. Wealth strategist Sarah Collins articulates this succinctly. Those who panic sell become tomorrow's regretful stories. Those who wait become legends. This philosophy is profoundly relevant for those holding the Iraqi Dinar, Vietnamese Dong, and even the Zimbabwean currency, as their potential for reward is intrinsically tied to complex international coordination, precise institutional timing, and macroeconomic adjustments that cannot be accelerated. The short-term discomfort of waiting, watching rates fluctuate and rumors circulate, can be intense, but for those who maintain discipline, this discomfort functions as a powerful strategic advantage. Patience in this context allows investors to benefit from deep structural changes rather than temporary, distracting market noise. It is within this space of as informed endurance that genuine opportunity resides. The ability to cleanly separate emotional impulses from strategic action, to discern meaningful signals from irrelevant noise, and to position oneself for a potential outcome that could dramatically exceed conventional expectations is what truly defines success in this unique market environment. The coming days are more than just a countdown. They are a defining period where personal financial decisions could have long-lasting consequences. During this critical window, market signals continue to shift subtly yet meaningfully. Institutional whispers are now surfacing with increased frequency, and private advisories are beginning to hint strongly at forthcoming changes. Every day delivers a new piece of the intricate puzzle updates from the Central Bank of Iraq, adjustments in U.S. banking communication protocols, or clear Forex activity indicating potential corrections, alongside the finalization of major international reserve and trade agreements. For holders of the Dinar Dong, or the Zimbabwean currency, these signals are not abstract. They are the tangible indicators of a potential historical shift in valuation. The profound choice facing investors is simple: will they hold steady, trusting the strategy that informed patience promises? Or will the psychological pressure of impatience lead to a premature exchange, potentially forfeiting transformative financial gains? Navigating this window requires not just passive awareness, but active engagement, dedicated monitoring of credible news sources, tracking institutional statements, and constantly calibrating one's personal financial strategy accordingly. 2. The next 10 days are fundamentally about positioning, readiness, and the fortitude to adhere to a well-researched plan rather than succumbing to fear. For those who choose to act with insight and discipline, this period offers a rare convergence of timing, verified information, and strategic opportunity, the kind of alignment that appears in financial markets only occasionally, but which possesses the power to define individual wealth trajectories for decades to come. Your patience is being tested in ways that few markets or conventional investment scenarios ever demand. The uncertainty, the pervasive rumors, and the long wait may feel prolonged, but it is precisely these periods of high tension that historically precede the most meaningful breakthroughs. For holders of the Iraqi Dinar, Vietnamese Dong, and Zimbabwean dollars, this is not the moment to retreat or succumb to fear. It is the time to stand firm, remain exceptionally informed, and prepare strategically for potential developments. 2. Reflect on the fact that many of history's most transformative financial events were preceded by intense periods of tension, indecision, and widespread market skepticism, moments when only those with the greatest foresight and discipline were able to reap extraordinary rewards. The next 10 days, short as they may seem on the calendar, represent a highly concentrated window, during which informed patience could indeed translate directly into financial transformation. By carefully observing institutional signals, tracking authoritative advisories, and maintaining a disciplined strategy, investors position themselves for potentially life-changing outcomes. Staying truly ready means more than just holding the currency. It demands a clear understanding of the structural forces at play, the anticipation of necessary shifts, and the cultivation of confidence to execute the final action only when the timing is definitively aligned. While the future is never certain, the combination of thorough preparation, sustained awareness, and unwavering patience has historically separated ordinary investors from those who achieve extraordinary financial results.